All 50 states finally entering some phase of reopening. Even as more restrictions are lifted, new protests erupting. In Connecticut, the final state to begin reopening, salon owners outraged after learning they're not included in today's Phase 1 plan.
The rug got pulled out from underneath us.
In New Jersey, this gym goer arrested. A group of officers handcuffing him amid a crowd of angry protesters. The gym owner fined for ignoring lockdown rules. Multiple gyms in Washington state now facing a similar fate after owners reopened against state orders.
Do business. Get with it.
Out of 21 states that eased restrictions at least 2 weeks ago, there have been no major reported changes in the hospitalization rate or COVID-19 deaths. But a new CDC study is highlighting the risk as states reopen, tracing a cluster of infections in Arkansas to a single church. More than a third of the 92 people who attended got sick. 3 people died. In New York City, this video shows the ultraviolet light now being used to clean subways and buses so workers can get back to commuting. Authorities spending $1 million on special devices, hoping the light will kill bacteria and stop the coronavirus in its tracks.
Scientists are gathering new evidence about how to prevent more COVID-19 infections. Researchers at the University of Washington now projecting thousands of fewer deaths in America because of the increasing number of people wearing a mask in public. A lack of mask and protective gear is partially to blame for the growing crisis in the Southwest. The Navajo Nation, which extends across parts of 3 states, now surpasses New York and New Jersey for the highest per capita infection rate in the country.
I try to be strong here for my grandkids.
Dorothy Scott got the call that her husband died from the virus while at the funeral for her son, who also died from COVID-19.
Standing there at my son's grave, talking to him and holding the flower to put there. Here they telling me that my husband is stopped breathing.
And the Navajo Nation says its largest hospital is now at capacity. It has only 20 intensive care beds for an area the size of West Virginia. A major boost to hopes of overcoming the coronavirus. The South Korean CDC now saying it's likely that people cannot be infected twice. Early in the outbreak, hundreds of patients tested positive for a second time, prompting concern that people were not immune to catching it again. But scientists now say those relapsing cases were testing failures.
These results are very encouraging and should be very reassuring to the public that once you get infected with COVID-19, it's unlikely that you're going to get infected again.
Experts warn the conclusion is still preliminary and they don't know how long that immunity will last.
Catastrophic flooding threatening to swallow an entire town.
Downtown Midland could be under approximately 9 feet of water.
A major dam in Michigan failing late Tuesday. The moment water gushed through the barrier, caught on camera. You can see as more and more water starts sweeping through the gap. Less than 2 hours later, the Sanford Dam about 10 miles south buckling under pressure. Fast-flowing floods pouring into town, sweeping away cars, dumpsters, and anything else in its path. The rising river even washing out this bridge, cutting off one of the evacuation routes.
This is unlike anything we've ever seen before.
The stunning impact of the flooding seen here in these before and after photos.
This is the worst flooding I have ever seen in this area. The worst.
The state's governor declaring a state of emergency. National Guard on the ground overnight, while residents downstream took refuge on higher ground.
Meteorologist Ginger Z, an update on the flooding in Michigan. So I used to work in this market, mid-Michigan, and they've had, in parts of Michigan, more than 8 inches of rain just in 48 hours from Sunday into Monday. I was talking to my mom, most of the state inundated, but it's been a real issue where those 10,000 people had to be evacuated this morning in Midland. And we're gonna see how that river works and how it all works downstream. But let me tell you, it is not just rivers in mid-Michigan or West Michigan. The flood warnings that are represented by that red color on the rivers extend all the way through Indiana and Ohio, Kentucky, look at Arkansas, South Carolina, North Carolina, and there's more rain for western North Carolina and Virginia. It's going to come after they just had 2 to 4 inches. And so this was the scene in western North Carolina, Catawba River. That person trying to go through, do not do that. That's how people get injured and dead, die in flash flooding. And today I think with that low coming up, we could end up with squeezing out a couple more inches of rain in that same region. So western North Carolina, if you're in Greensboro or Durham, right up to Roanoke, just west of Raleigh, 3 to even 5 inches possible.